and spying is their priority, and I will tell you about that now. Spying. I gave your very efficient production team here a cabinet note. I will ask them to bring it up, and you will be appalled at this note. This is page 1 of the note. This is a note, I'll just tell you, it is 1971 of November 16, 2018. 2018, I have it in my hand. Look at this amazing thing. Cabinet agreed to the naming, they renaming everything because they didn't want to call it National Operations Center. That is too much partnership. So they call it National Operations Fusion Center, whatever that means. That's not important here. Look at the next thing below that. To the establishment of memoranda of agreement and non-disclosure agreements with strict confidentiality provisions among government ministries, statutory authorities, and other legal entities identified here under. We come into that. Imagine you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement with the Strategic Services Agency, that is spying agency, which is run by persons appointed by cabinet. They are political appointees. You have to sign an agreement with them, non-disclosure, confidentiality, etc., for sharing and managing data to the National Operations Fusion Center. Here they take that, man. Ministry of National Security, come down. The National Security Council is staffed by politicians. I was a member of that for 5 years. We are politicians. They are given secret information. The SSA, the SSAS, Strategic Services Agency, have to give the National Security Council, which is a politically appointed council, important information that they are collecting, and that must, and here are the other entities. Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Defense Force, Prison, Fire Service, Immigration Division. Go to the next page, boys. Customs and Excise, all the ministries, and here's some funny ones. I don't want to read all. You can see it on the screen. Could you imagine Digicel, Flow, Green Dot, private companies have to sign a memoranda of understanding? Look, the judiciary too have to give secret information to the SSA.
What?
And look, Digicel, Flow, Green Dot. You come into it now, Dan. Look at it coming up. Private companies must sign a memoranda of agreement with the SSA to give information to the SSA for further transmission. You understand what happening? The SSA's politicians give them information. Digicel, Flow, Green Dot. Look at an interesting one, the Downtown Merchants Association. Now, what information you want from Gregory Abu down there in the downtown, the Doma? What you want to find out? How much car they wreck in front of the Frederick Street? You want to find out where is the cause of a dress length? Huh? Where is the cause of a petticoat?
Wait, but what madness are you telling me here?
They are...
The cabinet, the executive, the prime minister and his cabinet has taken a decision by this cabinet note that all of these institutions
must give
sign a memorandum
secret agreement
with SSA, which is a politically appointed. If people y'all don't remember, Gary Griffith said when he got the spyware equipment, he did put a check and balance in that. He gave the police half and the SSA half,
and they were
so that they have to check and balance and counteract each other, because he did not want to have with the SSA that is appointed and influenced by the politicians to give them that authority. McDonald Jacobs came and admitted, and Fitzgerald Hines said that all the equipment was moved after Gary was moved over to the SSA. So the political arm now has all the ability to spy on you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And this cabinet note that Munilal bring here says that the cabinet has told and agreed that all these agencies that have your private information, they must sign a secret memorandum with the political SSA to share information, and the SSA must share the information with Rowley and them in the National Security Council, which is a subcommittee of the cabinet. So all this have to be managed.
They could go to Flow, Digicel, TSTT. And I'll come into TSTT just now. They could go to any ministry of government, any division, now the judiciary, and collect information and pass it to Rowley and his gang. This has serious repercussions because the Data Protection Act, a UNC product, the Freedom of Information, UNC as well, the Data Protection Act has not been fully proclaimed and enforced. The Data Protection Act protects citizens where their private information is taken. Companies that take it, entities and so on, they are under legal requirements that they cannot share it, they cannot divulge it. There are consequences for doing that. The Data Protection Act is not enforced, is not proclaimed fully. So now you have all of this information taken by the spy agency, no Data Protection Act in place. Under Freedom of Information, here the irony of ironies. TSTT went to court the other day. In the Court of Appeal, they lost to Anand Ramlogan, Jayanti Lakshmi Dayal and others. They lost, which they will always lose. But TSTT gone to court to say them as a private company. They're not public. That's what they were going to, so they don't have to give information under Freedom of Information. They're going to court as hypocrites, this TSTT, while the government say TSTT is a public agency here, we want all the information.
So you are telling me that TSTT, you all have your cell phone with all your WhatsApp and all your group.
Everything.
How much girl you have and so on. The SSA could go to TSTT, get all of your information, and TSTT has to give it to them, and the SSA could then share it with Rowley and Smallpin.
Two questions I asked. One, I asked the government today, tonight, and in the coming hours, tell us how much memoranda of agreement, non-disclosure agreements have been signed between the SSA and all these NNC. This is November 2018. Between 2018 to 2022, how much memoranda of agreement and non-disclosure agreements have been signed between the political SSA and these entities named here? That is one. We also want the government to come clean on what information they require. You see, and the law is clear. Police investigating, immigration investigating, anybody investigating, you can always go to the court for a court order, a warrant, if you want people banking information, telephone records, email, everything you want, you can get. But there's a way in the law to get it. You go through the court system, you apply for a warrant, you can get information, or you get a court order stating that we want all the financial information, all the location of people's cell phone and whatever. You can do it through a legal process, but this government is breaking the law. They realize that, and I will give you a snippet because again I will talk on our next occasion. I have the budget coming up, you know. This government realized that when police and other law enforcement agencies go to the judiciary, arms of the judiciary, whether it's magistrate, high court judge or whoever, sometimes even JP, the JP and magistrate and judge blanking them on warrant, saying that you don't have information, you don't satisfy me, you want to search Mr. Roberts' house, you want to get Mr. Roberts' email, but you don't have enough information to satisfy me that it is proportionate, that it is required. When they're getting blank, and I am told now that police have one or two police we know are now lying before magistrate. When they realize that the magistrate, judge and so on, not granting warrants or court orders, they decide to go to cabinet and let cabinet act as the judiciary by creating a law. Cabinet don't pass law, parliament pass law. This is policy. But they want the cabinet to intervene for all ministries and private entities to go and give personal information to the politically appointed SSA. So Rowley can use that. Rowley can use that.
Saying that cabinet note that you hold in your hand is illegal.
This is illegal. And in the coming days we will talk much more about this. But what happened, Rowley realized, and Stuart Young too, the short pin, whatever you call him, he realized, in fact short pin is something on a golf course too. One day I called for a fellow for the shorter pin and he said, who, Stuart Young? So when they realized that it's not easy to get court order, warrant, to get a JP to sign off on a search, it's not easy anymore because the law enforcement officers are saying, or the judiciary are saying, look, you don't have enough
How come the Prime Minister or Smallpin did not announce after that cabinet meeting that the cabinet has...
No, this was never, unless I'm mistaken, on that I was spending that day on Mars. I didn't hear anything in press conference about this, you know.
Yes.
On no press conference they announced that they have non-disclosure agreements between the political SSA and a ton load of ministries, including private entities. These private entities, tonight I want to tell Flo, Digicel, Downtown Merchant Association, Green Dot, they are breaking the law. They are breaking the law. The cabinet cannot make law. Cabinet pass policy, policy create law, and parliament pass law. That is the process. If the government want to change the law on spying and getting information on citizens, come to the blasted parliament with legislation, but don't do it this way. This is the workings of a dictator of the highest order. And I ask the government tonight, in the coming hours, tell us if this is not true, it is not true. If this is fake or falsified, Tell me. Say, look, Munilal, you type up yourself. You type this yourself like Rowley type up email gate. Say, Munilal, you type up this yourself. It's not true. And tonight I put this on your program because I thought it's sufficiently important for citizens to know that this government is using the SSA and equipment that is in their possession, Gary Griffith and Jacob, confirm that, to spy on citizens through every ministry, including private agencies. I leave it there.
Well, there you have it from Rudal, Munilal, and all of y'all. I hope y'all are very interested, because that is dictatorship. That is not democracy. That is not legal. That is illegal. And to all the private entities, if all you get our memo and y'all are actually doing that and allowing SSA and signing secret memoranda to give citizens information, ultravirus the law, against the law, illegally, all you're in some real hot water. So we have it. You heard it here first on Douglas Politics.